everyone. Lisa Resnick here. Hope you are all enjoying this beautiful cloudy day. That'll give us a little bit break in the humidity, so that'll be nice. I am with special guest Traci DeCapua of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Canfield Township. What's up, Traci?
Hey, how you doing today, Lisa? Happy to be with you.
Thank you. I'm happy to have you. I really appreciate you taking time out. I know how busy you guys are there.
We have been crazy busy, I have to say. Been a good
thing.
Kind of busy. Good kind of busy. Yeah.
It is a good busy. You guys have been putting in the time and the effort into figuring out ways that you can help other businesses thrive in Canfield Township, and I love that.
We are trying our very best, and I'll tell you, it's been a little, with our whole COVID year or year and a half.
Yes.
You think things would slow down a little, and it never stopped for us. Never stopped.
No, it really hasn't, and I keep saying that I feel like we're all still a little bit in limbo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we still haven't fully planted our feet on the ground. So we have learned to adapt to basically a controlled chaos type of environment.
Absolutely across the board.
So I thought it'd be great to have somebody from Canfield Township or to talk to us about real estate and how significant planning and zoning is when it comes to the economic development of the area. And how significant you are, because I know in my world, a lot of my clients do directly deal with zoning. I mean,
correct.
You have to. The process and everything. You just can't purchase a property and think you can do whatever you want with it. There are definitely rules and regulations.
Absolutely.
That are created by you guys.
Absolutely. We're kind of like the zoning is the kind of the first line of defense, so to speak. We are the ones where if you're having a new build, any kind of addition, any kind of structure put up aside from your home, you have to come to zoning first. And we permit that. We have rules and regulations as to, setbacks as far as side property lines, back property lines, where it can be placed. A lot of people just think it's my property and I'll do what I want. But that can lead to other issues. So we're the first line, and from us, take it to the county. That's where you get your building permits, your electrical, your plumbing. But zoning is kind of the first step.
That is true. Zoning is the first step, and you guys are constantly thinking about what at the end of the day is an economic benefit to the area within your jurisdiction.
Oh, correct.
And I know right now, and you see tons of signs in Canfield Township off of Boardman Canfield Road, showing available property. Some of that property is zoned residential for commercial use. Some of that property is actually ag. So anything that you'd want to do with that property, how would they go? If I have a client that's looking to purchase that property, let's say behind, I believe it's behind the Napa grocery that we have located now. And my client wants to build a storage facility in the background. So what would they need to do to make sure that, and I believe that's currently zoned ag, but what would they need to do in order to go through the process for approval to create what they want to?
Okay, let's just take that as an example. So right now, the whole 224 corridor east is and west partially is zoned business up to 1,000 feet off the road. Okay, anything farther back is usually agricultural or residential, undeveloped as of yet. That property, let's say, is agricultural. They want to put in, like you said, an indoor storage facility. Right now, it's not zoned for that. So the developer would have to come to the township and apply for a zone change. It is a process. It goes through our zoning commission. It would then goes to the Mahoning County Planning Commission.
Yep.
And then back to our trustees. And that it's a process. It takes a couple of months. If the zone change is approved, then the plans come to the township. We go about all of the, how the infrastructure is going to be, where the detention is going to be, where the building's placed, and how it's going to be built. And then they take the zoning permit, and that goes to the county for a building permit. So that's a multi-step process right there.
It is. And people should come to you with their plans, right? It's not just, hey, I have this idea. Are you okay with it?
Right. Hey, walk in, I want to put up a garden pavilion or, something along that, but I've got nothing to show you. Then there's really nothing I can do for you at that time until you have drawings and site plan for me.
Now, how detailed does it have to be? Because I know one of the other things that a lot of developers often face is wetlands. I mean, that's like the big curse word in the world of development.
Absolutely. Wetlands is the big, that's when you just kind of bow down and say, okay, here we go.
Yes.
For a developer, wetlands can either be natural or man-made. It depends. They cannot be touched. They can be mitigated, which means that developer has to pay X amount of however many acres they want to mitigate of wetlands. Let's say it's 2, then they have to pay X amount to mitigate and move them elsewhere before they can develop that property. A lot of times the fee is very high. It is very high to mitigate wetlands. So then we work around them, okay, here's how far you have to be back. You can't walk through them. You can't put a road through them. So yeah, it's a very difficult position to be in for a developer if you've got a lot of wetlands.
It definitely is. And now the question is does zoning look at that before approval, or is that something that happens after zoning has approved a rezone or whatever the plan is in front of them?
Oh no, absolutely. So the developer is asked to bring fully engineered plans to the zoning office, and that will show all the site and what's on that site and what they plan on doing, if there are wetlands, if they're planning on mitigating or not mitigating. But that is all done prior to coming to zoning. Those are all engineered drawings prior to coming to zoning. And that's all the soil and water and all of the storm water calculations have been done and brought with those plans.
And here's the other thing, in which I always recommend to my clients that are selling their property, that they're hoping to open their market, or they know that whatever jurisdiction they're in, that they ideally would like it to be zoned from residential to commercial. My suggestion always to them is to wait until you have the purchaser in hand with their plans before you proceed or go in front of zoning and beginning that process. I
mean, we have in the past, very much what you're saying. We've had property contingent upon zone change. So, the buyer is saying, I'm not doing the final. I'm not, I don't want, until we are guaranteed with the stipulation that we can get this property zoned. And we've had quite a few cases like that. That where the sale of the property is contingent upon the zone change, usually at the seller's expense. Yes. So, and which could be fun at those meetings, right? Absolutely. Zone changing to business / commercial, that's when you draw the crowds, Yes. It's like, where do you stop with your business district? What is the delineation? How do you determine that? And that's buffer all zone. Correct. Buffers created in your land use plan. So what did you see for your plan? We just talked about 10 and 20 years from now, what is Canfield Township going to look like? So that's everything we have to consider when going through a process like that. And speaking of what Canfield is going to look like 10 and 20 years from now, I know you guys are diligently working
on that plan and seeing
Yes.
what you could do to be smarter about the growth that is happening in the township.
Correct. We have been working well over a year on a comprehensive land use plan for Canfield Township. And we had multiple members of the community stakeholders involved in the initial meetings. We worked with a consultant, CT consultants, had a lot of stakeholder input, and then kind of got it together where, we had a lot of surveys that went out, a lot of diverse meetings as far as, our stakeholders and our township and our residents. Finally got something together. We are kind of in that final phase where it's with our zoning commission. We're fine tweaking it before we take it to the trustees for a vote to modify. And actually, it's the first one that we've actually had. So it's a big deal. It's a long process.
It is a very long process, and there's a lot of detail in it. And if you think about it, to foresee what your future is for an entire town, if we think about how times have constantly changed, right? How it went from development to green space to all the different changes that we have as an area have gone through. To be able to wrap your mind around that and be able to foresee what's the best use of your area is not the easiest thing. So
it's not, because Canfield Township is very unique in its diverse qualities. Canfield Township has a nice area of business commercial. We have a lot of single family residential homes on smaller acreage. We have residential housing on larger land plots, and then we have true farming areas, which that's a whole different set of rules when you're out in the ag. So Canfield Township offers a lot of diversity in its land.
It truly does, and there's a lot of room for still growth. I think that it is great when it comes to the commercial space, when it comes to, if you're looking for that exposure, that high traffic area, all the other fun variables that people look into when determining a location for their business or their development. I know that when it comes to PUDs, you guys look at everything very detailed, making sure that everything from not just the structure of the home, but water, sewage, everything is done properly. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be your problem.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it's not, even if we say a PUD is a private, they want to keep it private, private roads, which means we don't maintain those roads. Mm-hmm. But we still, when those PUDs go in, we inspect the infrastructure, and that's what we require is certification on the infrastructure before the PUD is turned over to their private association, if that's the route they're going. So very important.
It is important. Now, for everyone out there that is looking to do something in Canfield Township, like you said, whether it is to construct a new home, construct a new development, to build a business, add on to your current place, where should they first go?
Honestly, look on the GIS, look on the map, see what's out there. If you're looking to build, see what property is out there. Land is at a minimum. It really is. And eventually we're not going to be able to have the property to build or expand. So right now, land is a minimum. If you're looking to build, look on the map, come to me. I can give all the zoning, what's zoned and where and how, if there's utilities, if there's not utilities, if the developer needs to run utilities. Same with any kind of a new housing development. Like I said, land is scarce. It is at a minimum, but we do have property out there that we can find for you. And if not, we do have a lot of area that are already developed business-wise that are empty that we would love to see filled.
Yes.
So that's when they come to you and say, hey, listen, what? we would love to see those spaces filled, those commercial
Yes.
spaces filled.
Yes.
That actually is a goal of the township. We would love to see some of those empty spaces filled from a commercial and business standpoint.
Just like houses, vacant buildings deteriorate faster
Correct.
over time without
Absolutely.
occupancy.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's 100% true. Thank you. Oh, one more thing I do want to touch on when it comes to zoning. So with Canfield Township has their zoning and their rules and their regulations, but it's also, you always keep in mind what is happening and what the rules are in Canfield Township is not the same rules and regulations as in Boardman Township, Beaver Township. So Columbiana, you always need to make sure everybody goes to the proper resources and Traci, people like Traci and the zoning and planning departments that's where you need to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to stress also that Canfield Township and the city of Canfield also have two separate zoning ordinances. So if
this is true,
don't think that that's all in the one and the same, but I know I work very closely with their zoning inspector and we have a good relationship. So, we're always passing someone off to one another.
That does happen a lot. I may have been passed off a few times at the beginning as well. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Now I just need you to join me on Homes and Hops and we'll be good to go.
You know what? You offer the invitation and I will be there.
That's awesome. Thank you, Traci.
Thanks, Lisa. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications. And also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.